turn our attention to today's top talkers. Of course, everyone talking about this. Charlie Sheen confirmed rumors that have been circulating for some time now. The actor is HIV positive. The admission came yesterday morning on the Today Show, saying, quote, "I'm here to admit that I am, in fact, HIV positive. I have a responsibility now to better myself and to help a lot of other people." Sheen also released a letter saying that he was diagnosed 4 years ago and has since paid out millions of dollars to keep it quiet. However, what hasn't been secret in Hollywood is, of course, Sheen's issues with sex and drug abuse. Sheen says that he has had unprotected sex with 2 partners since his diagnosis, and he has been honest with all of his partners since learning of his condition. However, former girlfriends and goddesses, you ladies may remember this, Brie Olson and Natalie Kinley, they told Howard Stern and TMZ respectively that they were not told by Sheen of his condition. Both have tested negative for the virus after ending their relationships with Sheen in 2011, but Sheen insists that he did not know at the time that he was HIV positive, that the trio was dating. So here's the deal. He kind of ended this goddess relationship, which was kind of a weird thing at the time.
Yeah, just a little.
At a certain point, 2 weeks later, he says that he found out that he was HIV positive. So, fortunately, the ladies, very recently, from what I understand, both tested negative for HIV. So they didn't contract the virus from him.
But my question is, how long did he have it before he found out? Because it lies dormant in your system for who knows how long. And why would he have unprotected sex with someone after he found out he had HIV? That's
I'm still trying to figure out why he shot himself in the foot on 2.5 Men. I mean, he had a pretty sweet deal, and he just went off the deep end. So, unfortunately, all bets are off. I mean, obviously, we hope for his health's sake and for everyone else, that he does start taking better care of himself, that this is kind of a fork in the road for him. But yeah, who knows? Who knows?
It's really bizarre.
Yeah, he was able to keep this secret, for 4 years. So who knows what other behaviors he kept secret? No, it's not. And this is the sad thing, sad but true thing, is that I'm not shocked.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but
best wishes to Charlie Sheen and all of his ex-lovers.
Yeah, fortunately, I mean, in this day and age, it is not the death sentence, getting HIV virus. It's not full-blown AIDS.
Right.
It is the virus that can cause AIDS. So fortunately, it's not what it was back in the 80s when it was first discovered. When you were diagnosed with this, it was almost a death sentence.
Yeah.
There are people that have lived long, fruitful lives that do have the virus.
Yes.
So,
stay safe, Charlie.
Yeah, stay safe, exactly.
All right, switching gears to something more medically pleasing. Doctors in New York City announced they've successfully performed a groundbreaking procedure on a Mississippi firefighter who suffered severe burns 14 years ago. A new face for an injured first responder. This is what firefighter Patrick Hardison looked like after being burned in a 2001 fire. Now, the 41-year-old from Mississippi has a new appearance, thanks to what doctors at NYU Langone Medical Center are calling the most extensive face transplant to date. The August surgery lasting 26 hours.
Wow.
More than 100 medical professionals taking part in simultaneous procedures. Doctors replaced the skin on most of Hardison's skull, spanning from the front of his neck to so far down the back of his head that only a small section of his own hair remains. The transplant also includes both ears and eyelids, and Hardison is able to once again blink and close his eyes while he sleeps.
That is amazing.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, that is absolutely
really amazing stuff. He went through 70 surgeries over those 14 years.
Wow.
70 surgeries.
It's great that they're able to do that for a first responder, who was injured in the line of duty and really is able to have a sort of a second chance.
Yeah.
It's great. First of all, he was able to survive that. But the doctors and technology advancing to the point that they can do something like that, because
it's amazing.
Watching the details of this surgery, it is profoundly intricate and amazing that they were able to do this.
Yeah, and the donor was actually a 26-year-old BMX rider from Ohio.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, the same age that Hardison was when he was initially burned.
Really, when he suffered the injury.
Yeah.
Wow, that is fantastic.
It's a great story.
Great story, yeah, absolutely. Also, great story for parents out there just in time for the holidays. Lego has unveiled new Lego-proof slippers designed to protect our feet from the popular toy. The Danish toy maker is joining forces with a French advertising company to design slippers which are made with extra padding at the insoles, keeping our feet safe, just in case you step on one of those tiny bricks. As anyone with kids knows, they can be easily forgotten in the shadows of the places that we live, awaiting the lumbering souls of unsuspecting victims. Take a listen.
And I've stepped on a few Legos and it's extremely painful. The smaller they are, the more painful they are because it's more pounds per square inch. The foot has a tremendous amount of nerve endings in it. And it's a protective mechanism so that when you do step on things, you don't stay on them for too long.
All right, now according to the French blog Peewee.net, only 1,500 pairs of the slippers currently exist, but we are hoping that that number increases exponentially. And let me tell you, I'm sure any parent out there that has stepped on one of those, it's the worst.
Yes.
It is the worst.
And 90s kids, Polly Pockets. I used to step on those all the time. Do you remember Polly Pockets?
Yes, I do. I never stepped. I think for the boys it was the micro machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, Home Alone actually they use it in the segment. You know where Kevin goes after the bad guys.
Yeah.
He booby traps the bottom of the stairs.
And
with
he
the micro
slips, right?
machines.
He slips and falls.
Yeah. Yeah, those were horrible. But
Yeah.
Legos, I think, and obviously Legos aren't going anywhere. They are just as popular now as they were when they were first introduced.
No. And they stick around in your house forever. And they'll
Forever.
hide, and you'll find
And
them
that's
when
the
you
thing.
step on them.
You find them at 4 in the morning when you're getting
Yeah.
up to make your cup of coffee, and you don't need the coffee to wake you up because you have searing pain on the bottom of your foot. All right, time now for our viewer top talker, folks. This is your chance to chime in on a morning discussion. Students at Eastern New Mexico University are rethinking their winter break plans after learning the school will charge them to stay on campus. In a little more than 3 weeks, fall semester wraps up at Eastern New Mexico University. Now, most students will head home for the winter break, but a few choose to stay for all or part of the break. The university is charging students $250 to stay on campus during winter break, or $15 a day. Now, some students will also have to be moved to a different dorm. Now, the school says the policy has been in place for years, but some older students, they say they don't remember ever being charged to stay. On top of the cost, the dining hall will be closed over the break, so students, they're going to have to find somewhere else to eat. However, school athletes and band members who need to stay over the break, they can stay for free. So some of the, players, obviously basketball, the bands that root on the basketball players, they are at least getting covered.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys, but what we want to know from you is, do you think the school should be charging students over winter break? Now, logistically, I don't know. I might get crucified for this, but logistically, I think it kind of makes sense because there's spring semester and there's fall semester. And anything in between. I was just speaking to my mom yesterday, and she has to pay $1,000 for my brother's winter class, which is not covered by student loans. You have to pay out of pocket.
So they only cover spring and fall.
So it does make sense. But ethically, we are paying so much money for school.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, it's a couple weeks.
It's really hard because you do think of the upkeep, the maintenance. They can't shut those buildings down. They can't turn, the heat off.
Right.
You've got to keep them running. So I understand where the college is coming from. Yeah, the money has to come from somewhere. And some students, they can't afford to go home. Their families can't afford to bring them home. For whatever reason, they have to stick around. It's tough. I can definitely see both sides. So this one, I have to plead the fifth. The jury's still out on it. I don't know. I don't know that I have a side on this.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, join in on the conversation. You can like us on Facebook, 2 Casa Fox, leave a comment there, or follow us on Twitter and tweet us your opinion at 2 Casa Fox. And as always, you can go to casa.com and click on the style blog.
That's right. And of course, we'll share your responses in the second half hour. So let us know, guys. I need your help. Sway me in one way or the other on this conversation. When we come back on Style, we are finding out how you can enjoy a New Mexican Thanksgiving with our Around Town experts.
Plus, we're heading out to Old Town to ask who is your favorite Star Wars character in this week's Walk and Talk.
That's right. Stay with us, folks. A lot more ahead when we come back. But before we go to break, let's send things over to AJ and Kristen from Hollywood Today Live.